Hi guys, Mark and Paulette here. It's a gorgeous morning. It was freezing earlier. Look at Mark. He looks like he's in Alaska.
All bundled up.
Look at me. I had a sweatshirt on, but we came up on the balcony and it's beautiful. So put a tank top on instead, but it's still my sweats on and a pair of boots. Today we decided that we were going to answer a question for one of our subscribers, Virginia. And she was asking us about our Spanish. So she wanted to know how we learned it, how often are you using it in Mexico, and if we're fluent in it. So you want to talk about that, hon?
Sure. Learning the learning the Spanish language.
That's it for us, really.
Yeah, is definitely a work in progress for us. We've used a number of different programs. We've tried Rocket Languages a little bit. We did Spanish with Paul for quite a while.
And tell the story behind that. When did we start practicing, learning?
We started learning Spanish in 2015 when we decided that we were going to go check out Ecuador as a place to live.
That was our first retirement destination, honestly.
Visited there a couple of times.
Twice.
Checked it out for probably about a total of about 2 months. Beautiful country, but in the end it just wasn't for us, a little too far away, things like that. But I digress. But that's when we really started learning or trying to learn Spanish. We also use, Duolingo?
Yeah. Duolingo.
Which is pretty good for learning some basic sentences and things like that.
And what's that funny young girl? What's it called on YouTube?
Butterfly Spanish.
Butterfly Spanish. She's pretty funny. She's a young gal.
And she's pretty good too. If you guys haven't checked out Butterfly Spanish on YouTube, check out her channel. She's good.
It's free.
So
you can do donations if you want to, but you don't have to subscribe and pay a yearly subscription.
Yeah. So the next question is, are we fluent? No.
No, we're not.
Not by any means. I mean, we know some, maybe, more than basic stuff. I mean, we can get by, but we are not fluent. I don't know that we ever will be, but we keep trying.
It's hard. It's hard with that verb tense and it hangs us up. Plus, like we were doing some studying with it when the COVID hit, and therefore, we were unable to go to restaurants for a while and practice our Spanish and stuff like that. And for me, I'm the kind of person, if I don't use it, I will lose it.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. That's how I am. I mean, I've got to practice. I got to go out there trying it out, even if I get it wrong, which happens a lot. So no, we've been here for 2 years now, and we are bad expats on not having it down.
Yeah, we probably should be farther along than we are. Learning Spanish.
We should be much further along. But when we were learning some sentences, we thought they were great sentences, but then when we got to Ecuador, they were pretty much useless sentences that wasn't even going to be used.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were thinking, but anyhow, that's what happened in Ecuador. And like I said, like Mark said too, we should be much further along than what we are, and that's on us. That's our deal. I mean, there's so many ways to learn it. And we were doing like an hour a night for quite some time.
A while,
and then we just become slackers again, and then we get back into it. And there's so many people that are so good at it. They get a tutor, or they go to school. Not us, unfortunately. So, we're just tugging away. My New Year's resolution was that I would learn like only 3 words a week, right? Not even a whole sentence. But sorry, barking, motorcycle going by.
The sounds of Mexico.
Well, we don't hear any loud music though right now.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn 3 words a week, and I just tried to keep using them and using them. You know, sometimes I'll add sentences and I'll add some other things to it, although we do have some sentences down, but I mean, they're ones that we do use when we're out and about, but we really need to expand more on that. But I figure, you know, if I spend an hour on YouTube, you know, really doing that, it really stretches my brain to the point where it feels like it's mush and it just becomes all a blur. So I don't want to do that this time. This time I'm taking little tiny baby steps. And Mark, how are you doing with it? He's not.
But there is something to be said for learning by immersion too.
Are you learning by immersion, hon?
Yeah, somewhat.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
How often do you think that we need to use Spanish here?
Well, see, and that's the funny thing too. You asked me, you know, Virginia, like the importance of using Spanish here in Mexico. It is very important. I mean, we're in a Mexican country where Spanish is the language, so it's important. But we have gotten by with the little that we do know in 2 years' time. And you know, I don't know, maybe it would have been tougher if we didn't meet so many people that knew how to speak English. And so they talked to us in English and we talked back in English. You know,
we've made a lot of friends here in our neighborhood
that speak English.
That are Mexican, but they almost all speak English.
Right. So therefore, when we talk to each other, we talk to each other in English. So, I mean, I suppose I could just tell them, hey, you know, I want to practice my Spanish with you, and but I haven't done that yet. So,
or when we try to do that, they speak back to us in English, and then the conversation winds up in English, basically.
So it's been, you know, I think if we were submerged into an area where it was more or less of English spoken, and we're certainly not in an expat community like San Miguel de Allende or something like that, but and other areas too. Oaxaca is another big expat community, and others, Huatuco, you know, a lot of English spoken there and stuff like that. Where we are is not really an expat haven by any means. But with our situation, we seem to run into a lot of Mexicans that we meet that become our friends that speak English. So,
but, I mean, if you're out and about doing shopping and stuff, at least some rudimentary Spanish you will need every day, whether it's checking out at the cash register or
asking where an item is.
Or buying, going to restaurants, things like that.
Right. And there are times we still pull out our translator because I don't know what some of the ingredients are. I mean, I'm getting better. It's less of that, but it was all the time before. And the funny thing is, that the other day my neighbor messaged me if I could teach his daughter some English, and we're talking about doing it 2 to 3 days a week. And I told him that's great because then I can practice my Spanish with her too. So I'm thinking, you know, depending on how much you can take in and not take in when you're learning, because I know for me an hour sometimes can be overwhelming. But I'm thinking an hour or less, 2 to 3 days a week with her. And that'll be really nice for both of us. So I'm looking forward to that, and that'll start next week. I was talking to Mark about this morning. I had this brilliant idea, which always amazes me when it happens.
Like the Tao of David. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You guys ever watch Tao of David? He's pretty good. He's pretty funny. Anyhow, so I had this idea of, and I wanted to run it by you guys and see what you think. of getting together with some of our, gringo friends that have moved here. Jeff and Kathleen, Jim and Karen, Wayne, Mark and myself. So there'd be like 7 of us doing like a round table talk. And every once in a while we'll do videos on this. And again, give me your opinion, leave a comment below what you think.
Right.
On different topics, things that you guys want to know stuff about, where we're all going to discuss it because we're all going to have different opinions.
Right. So you'd be getting more than just our point of view.
Right, just more than our point of view, and seeing how each of us went about doing different things to prepare for Mexico or being here living in Mexico. So I wanted to throw that out there. Like I said, it's just one of those brilliant, genius ideas that I had this morning that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I hold on to it.
Yeah.
So tell us what you guys think of that idea. I know that it might be really helpful to get different people's opinion rather than just us gringos that have moved here. Because like I said, we're all not going to have the same thoughts on it, different processes, different ideas, different opinions on everything. So that's something that I'm thinking for in the future.
What do you think of my do?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, you got like cowlick stuff going on. That's not.
It's been under the hat.
No,
I haven't had my hair this short since I was about 8 years old.
And it looks like he's 8 years old. You've got cowlick things going all over from wearing that hat. This was not a good time to show that hair.
That's okay.
All right, next time I'll have him shower, shampoo, and shine and style it, and then you guys can check it out.
Newly trimmed, probably way too short beard.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was that short actually when he came back. I was like, wow, that's short. And tell him what I always do to you when you get a haircut.
Oh, she always, she tells me, I think you should go get a haircut. And eventually I cave in, go get a haircut, come back. And she goes, oh, you should have left it longer.
Yeah, I do. But you know what?
But she does that with her hair.
I'm guilty of doing that to myself. When I cut all my hair off, after like the next day, I'm like, oh man, I should have left it long. So he's not the only one that gets it. I do it to myself all the time. Yeah. Always second guess myself. Always second guess myself when I tell him to get a haircut too. So it's kind of like a no-win situation for him and for me when I do that. But it's hair. It'll grow out, and in about I don't know, 8 weeks maybe, because it's pretty short. I mean, look at this turn. I mean, it's like a military do he's got going on out of that short. That is really short. So, and plus, did you even brush it today?
Possibly not.
So you're seeing what you're seeing is morning head. You're seeing morning hair that has not been brushed, combed, anything.
Right. I paid 200 pesos for this haircut, which included a pretty nice tip. I think they're normally about, the guy charges about 140 pesos for a haircut and beard trim.
And you gave him a 200, which was like $10. So basically he charges $6, right? Yes. So what you're saying, you're saying 140? No, $7.
$6 or $7 US.
About $7, and then he tipped him 3 on top of that. So, and he used a straight edge. On his face, and he did some nicks. So.
And then he put on some like iodine and water solution. It felt like my face was on fire for about 10 or 15 seconds.
So, anyhow, so that's Mark's new do. This is my new do for December, January, for 2 months now. 2 months? So, and are you going to go back to the same barber? What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, probably. And I'll just be a little more explicit about not cutting it as short, the hair or the beard.
See, and that's the other thing. A lot of times I go with Mark when he goes to get a haircut, and I'm pretty telling him like in Spanish, like what to do and stuff like that, and showing them, and he doesn't do that. He just kind of sits back, right? Yeah. So you know what? Then it's no surprise if it doesn't turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out if you're not specific. right? You got to be specific. Those that are not specific, well, I don't know. I was specific on my haircut, but again, I couldn't really see the back. But I'm pretty much happy with it being short for now. It'll grow out.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm totally sidetracked on this whole thing when when we said goodbye.
That's okay, folks. She's only out of the home on a day pass. I'll take her back. She'll get on her meds.
There you go. All right. Well, give us your comments below, you guys, on what I was saying about the future videos as a roundtable talk on different subjects. As always, from the two Mexicans.
Yeah.
Haven't had my coffee yet. Okay,
Yeah.
don't hold that against me. As always, from the two travelers in Mexico.
What she did.
Bye, guys.